Hi everybody, Yoli Bear here. So today we're going to do a flower, and the flower that I chose was Trillium. These are my favorite springtime flowers. They're found when I go on hikes or even for a walk up by my place. You can find them in the shade, and they're one of the first springtime flowers that we get, and they're really pretty. I really love them. So today I'm gonna do the trilliums to just hurry spring up. So just trying to clean up my eraser here. So just trying to clean up my eraser here, make sure I don't have too much graphite on it. And I'm going to start with this leaf here. So we're going to start with our green. So I guess I start the same way every time. After my sketch, I will erase a small area that I'm going to work on and then fill it in with some light color, just so that I know what color I'm going to use and the shape of the area that I'm going to be working on a little bit later. And now my eyesight's not the best, guys. So that's why I kind of I erase as I go. And I do everything really lightly first because as of this moment, I'm a real coward with my watercolor. I'm not sure about a whole lot of things. So if I start light, it gives me the opportunity to change my mind or change the the color a little bit or just change the value, how dark I want it, how light I want it, maybe even change the hue slightly. I can make those little choices. If I start very light and just keep assessing as I go, it I am also, as I alluded to just now, very indecisive. So I might think I want that color. I think very strongly that I want that color at first, and then I change my mind. And it's very hard if I start bold right away to change my mind after. So that's why I start very light. So let's jump a little bit ahead here because we have a lot to get through tonight. So as I put in this final leaf, I just want to say that take some time with this step because right now I'm working on intersecting leaves. So you either have to be very careful not to touch the other leaf beside it, like right beside it, or that color, the highlight, is going to disappear, or you have to wait until one leaf dries before you do the next leaf beside it. And you see how I just touched that area real lightly before I started to erase? It's just to make sure that that area was dry before I started to erase everything, or else you would have gotten a very horrible smudge. So take a little time to make sure everything dries. Walk away from your painting if you have to, and just wait. Watch a YouTube video if you have to, and just wait before you start the next piece. So now we're doing petals. See, I didn't mix it up with leaves this time. Now we're doing petals. So this one is going to be an opera pink, and that is too bright, Yoli. That is too bright. So let's fix that. So I know I did that off camera, but how I'm actually fixing that is I'm trying to first spread out the color and secondly add water to it. So I'm not adding any more color to that leaf. I'm just adding water to my brush and trying to spread out that really dark color that I put down throughout the whole leaf. And I'm thinking maybe that bright color is going to do the whole of this leaf instead of adding any more pink to it. And then I'm going to have to dilute that pink that I went into to make sure that the other petals don't have that problem. So all I'm trying to do here is just get a light wash of pink, very light wash of pink over this whole leaf. I did it again. Petal. Sorry, petal. Oh, that lasted a whole of 5 seconds. Alrighty, I think that looks good enough. Now we can stop here and do the rest of the leaves. Okay, so it looks like I just got through only one petal before I started to do something else. So here I'm working on the stamens. Is that a stamen? Let me check the definition of a stamen. Yep, definition of a stamen. A stamen is the male pollen-producing reproductive organ of the flower, typically consisting of a slender stalk called a filament that supports a pollen-bearing anther. Yep, still got it. Go girl. So just filling in these pollen bits for the flower in the bright yellow, straight from the pan, straight from my pan colors. So it's really, really bright, really, really distinct. And we're filling in these parts that the bees really, really love, the pollen bearing section of the plant. Next time I'll put a bee in this composition, collecting some of that pollen. I think that would be fun. And what you do with one side, you have to do with the other side. So let's fill in this other petal. Let's give this other petal some attention. Speaking of petals, so let's get back to it and fill in the rest of these ones with some very light colors. Ah, do you see that? I missed a leaf. Missed a leaf. Do you see which one I missed? I missed that one. That one right there. All right, so I did the rest of the petals and then I went back to go get it. It still has the pencil marks on it though, so I'm really trying to stay away from that edge. I'll come back in and erase those later. So now I'm just working on the underside of these petals. I had left them blank before just because I wanted to make a little distinction that the petal is folding in on itself and you're seeing the underside of the petal and these parts are supposed to be darker than the rest of it. But because I'm just filling in basic color, I have to make a distinction. And so I'm leaving a little bit of the area white, um, highlighted, I guess, so to tell myself that this is what I'm indicating. I'm not sure if I'm going to erase the lines or leave the lines for now, but I need to know that this is actually, when I erase the lines, it's actually the petal folding over on itself. So I'll have to make that area darker. I don't want to make any mistakes. So I did that last. And then I think here is the stem. This stem is supposed to be separate from a leaf, from the leaves. And so I'm just trying to indicate that as well. There's a lot of overlap in this one, so I have to be very careful. When I erase my lines, I still know what I'm doing. All right, so let's work on some details. I probably should have zoomed you in for this, but hindsight 2020, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to darken this petal up, but I'm going to leave some space for the lighter area of the petal because I'm trying to indicate the veins. So where I'm leaving light, where I'm not filling in with that darker color, is going to be the vein of the petal. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So there's two ways to achieve veins. You can add color so that you can achieve your vein, or you can remove color to achieve your vein. When I tried to remove color on this one, it was fighting me. So I stopped trying to remove or lift color off of the veins of the petals and I just added more color to it. Same effect, but different technique. Here is that technique again, just in case you missed it. So I'm just trying to visualize where my veins are going to be and fill fill in the area around it with dark color. I think if you notice the other petal, that when it dries, it dries really light and you can hardly see those veins. But it's because I have you zoomed out so much. They're actually there. And what you'll do over the period of time of your drying time, so let it dry and then just reinforce them again by darkening them up again until you can, even in the zoomed out stage, see them. So you're going to go over them a few times until they're perfectly visible when dry. Um, as much as you want them visible, actually. So just keep reinforcing them and just keep going over them, keep glazing over them. And you can actually get pretty close. Like you can get that vein very small if you just, with a very detailed brush, just keep reinforcing those veins. So if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it, it's going to take a few layers for those veins to actually start to pop. So just keep at it. So now I'm jumping to the underside of these petals, just to darken it up to make it make it look like it's folding over on itself. So that needs to happen, and then fading it to the point. So I just want to say I'm not doing this out of my head. Some of it is a theory where if something is overlapping something else, the thing that is being overlapped is going to have that dark shadow over it. It's just how shadows work. But I also have the reference photo in front of me just to reinforce what I'm thinking. So the reference photo has probably only um, one petal that is folding over on itself. But I really liked the idea, so I made three of my petals fold over on itself. And I noticed on the reference photo that wherever the petal folds over on itself, there's a dark area underneath. So I'm just making sure that I put that in my piece and that it's reading correctly um, on the painting. So that's kind of how I use the reference photo in conjunction with what I am doing. It it won't match the reference photo and the painting. It shouldn't match because you're not just copying. You are actually adding. You're supposed to be adding your take on this photo that you're looking at. So you're not copying it word for word, line for line, color for color. You're using it to inform your decisions on your paper. All right, so enough of that. Sorry, sometimes I just have to get things out of my brain and into the world. So now I'm kind of just trying to make some decisions with on the overlaps of these petals. So we're talking about overlappings just now and where it's going to be darker and where it's going to be brighter. So um, I'm not sure if I'm just brightening things up to brighten them up to make them match right now, or I'm trying to work out where is going to be darker. I think I'm trying to work out where is going to be darker here based on the shadows. So, for example, wherever I have a petal that's above a leaf, the underside of that leaf should be darker. So I think I'm just trying to reinforce that 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 idea here. And I think I'm doing two things. I'm trying to play with my values at the same time. I'm trying to see what should be darker than what's on this piece. And so I'm trying to work it out. And I'm not talking in the video right now. I'm just kind of being very silent and being very thoughtful and trying to work out where I want these colors by just working on it. Just putting paint on paper and seeing the effects and seeing how dark they are. And then when it dries, reassess. So my painting has dried overnight. So here's what I have so far. Here are the shadows and the lights that I've put in so far. So I'm really happy with what's going on right now. But today we're going to work on the veins in the leaves. Hi everybody. So today I'm working on the Trillium and I mixed up another batch of green to try and work on this one. And why I ran out of green. So I mixed up another batch, but I was trying to more color match the Trillium now with the photograph that I was looking at. And so I started working on this color chart because I was having a hard time color matching, but I figured it out. So more on this later. So I'm trying to fill in all these blanks here with the paints that I have in my set so that I can better color match things when I'm trying to do a more complex piece like this. Um, so that's kind of what I'm working through. So I did a lot of work off camera on this. I mixed a new green to match the photo, and I was trying to work out the veins of the Trillium leaves. They're not your typical leaf vein. They're not easy, and it took a long time for me to wrap my head around it. And even with practice, I wasn't getting it right. So I had to just shut the camera off and just zone in and just try and figure out what I was seeing. So here's what I worked it out to be almost with the veins. So I'm gonna try and since I sketched it out, I'm going to try and all these pencil areas here are white areas here. So I'm going to try and wrap my brain. I'm gonna try and wrap my brain around reversing this. Whereas, so we're leaving these areas in pencil white. So I'm gonna try and do that now. So I'm just gonna put on my headphones and try and work that out. And you'll see if I get it right. I'm gonna move this and put this right in the corner here as a reference. And we'll see if I can develop this leaf to kind of look like that and how that's going to look for this piece. So headphones on. I'm gonna try to add some music here, and we can and maybe speed it up and add some music here. So please enjoy. So I didn't get around to adding the music bit, and my editing software doesn't do very well with speeding things up within the within the software. So if I have already started editing the video, just like I've already started editing the video now, for me to speed up a section of it, it crashes. So not to frustrate myself with that. It's a really old editing software. They're on like version 28 or something like that, and I'm still sitting at version 24. So things don't work that well anymore on my end. It doesn't work very well anymore on my end, and this part of it, the whole speeding up within, is a part of the things that don't work very well on my editing software, unfortunately. So until I buy the new version, which is not going to be for now. I'm stuck with what I have. So I just have to work around it and create within my means. So right here, I am I am literally painting in the the sketch that I have on the side. And I know that's not what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to try and leave those areas blank, but I had a brainstorm. I said, I can sketch in those darker areas first, and then right beside it, I leave that area blank. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm sketching in the vein dark, but then right beside the dark, you're going to have the light. So I'm hoping that that will come out in what I'm trying to do here when you actually see it. But yeah, um, this is one of the reasons why sometimes you see me disappear and stop making videos is because most of the time my editing software fights me. And sometimes when it fights me, I just give up and go, okay, you know what, forget it. um, yeah, but I'm going to try and be better and maybe just try and work with what I have a little bit more instead of wishing I had this perfect editing software that would work all the time and do everything that I wanted it to. I think that's working out quite well. Um, it's really light right now, but I have the lines down, and all I'm gonna have to do now is brighten up the areas that I need brighter and leave the areas that I need blank blank. So I'm really happy about how this turned out, and it's coming. It's looking quite like the sketch, I think. So we can work with this. So I used the same process and worked on the other leaf beside it. Of course, I had to wait for it to dry. And this one was a little bit more technical because I actually had to work behind, so to speak, behind that stem in the foreground. So it was kind of tricky to map the lines behind that stem, but I think it worked out pretty well. Okay, so now that everything is dry, I'm going to work on this leaf. It is, every time I look at it, it is not in an area that I like. I think it looks awkward. And so I'm going to try and fix it. I don't think it's in the right position. And I think it should be under that leaf. So I'm going to try and fix that. I'm going to, first of all, and it's too yellow. So I'm going to do two things to that leaf. I'm going to color correct it and I'm going to bring it down underneath the other one. So, so to bring that leaf underneath the other one, I'm going to fill in that white space right there with paint so that there is no gap. Okay? That's actually starting to look better already. And then I'm going to work on veining this leaf. So just like the other ones, so when I'm done, I'll bring you in for that. So here's me attempting to vein it. So I'm just filling in those darker areas and leaving the light area. That is the procedure I said I was going to start with. Just it's called negative painting, where you fill in the dark spaces first and leave the lights. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Don't know why I decided to switch processes, but I did. But it's working for this one. Um, so I just continued doing it. My only concern right now is how dark I'm actually putting this color in. And the reason, I have a good reason. The reason why I'm putting in this leaf dark is because I want it to appear like it's underneath the other leaf. And for me to do that, it has to be dark. Well, I think I'm doing it a little bit too dark. So I think I'm going to have to color correct this at some point, but not right now. And how I would color correct this is I would just lift off some of that pigment. So I'd go in with my water and I'd scrub that out a little bit and lift off some of that dark pigment and make it a little bit lighter. But I'm secretly loving how dark this 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 leaf is. I'm secretly loving how dark this leaf is against how light the petal is. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep it there just just to look at it for a little bit and see if I should be doing the opposite of what I want to do, which is to make the whole of the petals darker than they are right now. Um, if you look at all the petals together, they're all different shades, different values. So they're all a little bit lighter or a little bit darker than each other. So they're not consistent. So I'm going to have to color correct the whole thing after my veining process. Right now, I'm just focusing on veining these leaves. And then I'll focus on collectively working on the value of these leaves after. I just want to get the veining in, and then I'll work on the piece as a whole as to which leaves are in front, like more towards your eye. The ones that are more towards you are going to be lighter. The ones that are further away are going to be darker. And so I have to do that eventually. But right now I'm just working on the veins, which are kicking my ass. I have to say. But yeah. So but I'm keeping the dark. I'm gonna keep that dark area there, this dark, for quite a bit, just to stare at it because I'm kinda loving it. The contrast between the light petal and the dark leaves. So I might just leave it. All right, so I'm going to continue on this struggle bus for a little while of veining leaves, and I'll catch up with you later. All right, so here's what I have so far. It has now dried, and this is the piece as it is now. And to be honest, I'm a little bit burnt out on leaves right now, so I think I'm going to switch my focus and work on these petals. So this trillium is more white than pink, and what I mean by that is it's a very subtle pink, this trillium. And so I don't want to add too much bright pink to this because it is supposed to be very subtle. But I do want to highlight the veins a little bit more. And I want to add a little bit more pink color to it, but not too much. So here I'm adding a line just to kind of indicate shape and to shape this leaf a little bit more. You see how all of them are curling? This one that is kind of in front of you, I'm trying to indicate that curl as well. So I'm adding in that line and that shade just to have it have it curl a little bit more to your eye. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of a line. So I outline line at the base of that stamen where the pollen starts to come out of the plant. So if I put a distinct line there, you'll know that, oh, I can't see what's going on inside that leaf, that petal. I can't see what's going on inside that petal, but it appears that these stamen bits, these pollen bits, are coming out of uh, an area that is within there. And what I can do, um, I just got a brainstorm here, hindsight. I can maybe darken up inside that area as well to say, okay, it's deeper than you think. It's not just sitting on the surface, but it's a little deeper down in there and it's dark because not a lot of light is shining down in that area where the stamens are coming up from. So that's an idea I have. I'll execute that a little bit later. But for now, shaping the petals and adding a little bit more pink and also reinforcing where I have those very light veins. I'm really relying on the reference photo here. And what I'm relying on the reference photo for is I'm trying to work out where these pinker areas are in relation to where the veins are. and I'm trying to work that out on my painting. So I'm observing the reference photo. So I have a vein, and then where would these pinker areas appear naturally on this trillium flower? And I'm trying to work out what I'm seeing in the photo and trying to put that in my painting. And I think I'm doing it. I think I'm doing it well. In hindsight, looking at it, um, I think I'm getting it. It's working. It's just when you're actually doing it, you're, well, I'm very, very, very unsure. And so it's taking me a while to, my thinking is, am I sure that this is where I want to put down this brighter pink? Am I, is it going to come out the way I want it to if I put it here? So it's a lot of beginner thinking drama going on in my head. And I have to be very forgiving with myself because this is just my beginner brain trying to learn how to see. It's trying to interpret what I'm seeing on the photo and trying to translate that into what should be on the painting. And it's trying to work with my hands as well to say, hands, this is what I'm seeing on the photo. This is what should be. Would you please put it down on the painting? And so all these three things, they have to work together. And my brain is trying to sort that out for me. So with practice, I am hoping this will become easier over time. That's funny. It's funny how painting makes you work out your insecurities in public. Oh my goodness. So, as you can see, I think you can notice that I have two dishes up there. One with a very dark, well, it's not very dark, but one with a darker pink and one with a lighter pink. The darker pink is going to drop the color down in onto the flower, and then the lighter pink is going to just, I'm using that to fade the color in. So that's how I'm using those two dishes there. And where I want to dry the brush to fade it even more, that's what the paper is for. The paper in the middle of those two dishes are for. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm dropping the color in with the darker pink, and then I'm fading it with the lighter pink. And then I'm drying my brush and drying my brush with the paper in the middle, and then fading it even more. So this wasn't a struggle bus. This was actually very relaxing. I really enjoyed this process more than I enjoyed veining the leaves. The leaves are a struggle bus, but the petals are actually relaxing me. And I'm really enjoying the process of trying to figure out where do I want these darker areas to be. After I got over my initial, oh my gosh, this is very scary. Am I putting the color in the right place? I really started to relax and get into it and fill in these pinks. The only thing I wanted to catch myself and watch myself on is how bright these pinks were getting. So so, because at the beginning of this, I said these petals are more white than pink, and I just wanted to make sure that I controlled myself. So at some point, I'm going to stop and look and go, maybe I'm done. So I just needed to check myself and say, okay, let me just step back a bit and see how bright this is actually getting. So, hi guys. Here we are with the full painting. So this is where we are. And today I'm thinking about background. So this has now dried and I'm thinking about background now. I'm looking at this and the brightest thing on this painting should be these petals. And right now, this is as dark as I want the petals to be. This is as bright or as dark as I want the petals to be. So this is as much color as I want in the petals. But they're not standing out, and they're not standing out because I feel like the background is too bright. So I'm looking at this paper here. This paper is blue, and I feel like it's even better, a better color than what I have here as the white background. So I'm not going to leave this background white. I'm going to actually consider a color for this background. Now the photo reference that I'm looking at, it's a photo. So it has the trilliums growing out of the ground, and the ground is covered with leaves. So there are leaves on the ground, then this trillium growing out um, of these leaves. So considering that, I don't want to put the details of the leaves in there because looking at the photo, the leaves and the background are competing with the leaves of the trillium, which are competing with the petals of the trillium. So it looks very busy in the photo. And this looks very busy now because I have the trillium competing with the details in the leaves. So I was considering just a simple background, and I'm just going to do simple brown as the background. So that's my thinking behind here. So here is the brown that I came up with. It's a very light brown or a yellow on the yellow side of life. So here's the color test. What the color test will look like. Geez, it even looks like this paper that I'm holding. So this paper is more of a cream color as well. So that's kind of why it blends in. But that's the color that I'm going to be working with. So let's see if you can see it when I actually put this down. And here is Yoli Bear, the coward in motion. I started with the smallest area I could find to put this color down on paper, even though I tested it on another paper first. I'm like, let's just fill in the smallest space with this just to see how it looks. Because, at this point, we've done so much work on this painting that I really don't want to mess it up. So here we go with our insecurities again. So yeah, tested it on the smallest pieces first, and I'm still liking it. So I'm putting it down in other areas as well. So here we go. All right, the small areas are done. I'm still liking it. So now it's time to move on to the bigger areas. Let's go. Has become undone. And I'm almost done with it anyway. All I have to do now is do what I did after filling in everything with brown. Is just do this petal what I did here. And we're done. We're done with this one. This one took a long time just because I was taking my time with it and I was trying to work out my details. So I hope my thinking process helped in some way. Let me just move this for a sec. There we go. There's a line here. The mushrooms up top. My mushroom lives up top. So there, up top is where my little mushroom lives, and we need to finish off that one as well. And for this one, I just want an even wash initially. Just want to make one even wash initially, and then maybe I will darken some areas, go over some areas to darken it where I want to, like under this leaf. Maybe I'll darken that area later on. But for now, I just want an even wash. There you go, darkening things up. Sorry, concentrate. And I think this is looking a lot better already. It's it's making that pink stand out a little bit better than what it was before. So I'm a lot happier now than I was before with this one. After I fixed I fixed the leaf, this one took a lot of thinking. Now I'm going to have to revisit this painting, meaning do it over again. And my vision for it is going to be improvements to improve it. So one of the improvements I'm thinking about making is the leaves. I need the leaves to make a little bit more sense in their location, in terms of their location of the leaves. But otherwise, I think I'm good. Let me see if I missed any spots. I don't think I missed any spots. I think we're okay with this one now. All right, guys. So I think I'm good with this one. I'm just going to do what I did with this leaf of these petals. I'm gonna do with this one, and we'll call it a day after that.